All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, radio fans. It's Bob in 1KPR, and I'm going to try to go through this kind of quick today. If you look at some of my previous off-air monitor receivers, you'll see that a lot of them were using LED or idiot light indications for signal level, modulation, and so forth. Here's an example, the one we're using today. This is the AMX. I'm using it as a signal source for this test. And very briefly, what we're doing here is I've got a local guy on 960. We could see how we could see that backlit displays don't, or lighted displays, light sources don't come out so well. But anyhow, the point is that we've had these idiot light things for the engineer to look at, and he can check VU levels and so on. This is away from, at the studio or away from the studio, mostly for mobile use for field testing, field evaluation of your signal out in the DX areas, the fringe areas. Proof of play, and if you're going to record from out in the field to play back in the studio, show everybody what you got, how it sounds out there. There's also quick and dirty modulation thing. Boy, that's hard to photograph. Yeah, it's green, yellow, red, so anyhow, and I always said if they want meters, I'll build them. They're a pain to build, but I'm going to do it. There's a lot of work that goes into them. So we came up with this thing. One of the guys decided, yes, I'm going to spend the money. I want the modulation thing. So, okay, here we go. What we're doing is we're just taking the audio off of, I've got these jumpered because this is this unit inside here is AM and FM. It's the AM side, it's the FM side. They're duplicates of each other. So I'm bringing a common signal into both just for the purposes of this demonstration. They're also bringing in the AC voltage here from the receiver. And the audio, of course, coming in here on this coax from the receiver. So, The thing to bear in mind with this is that we're measuring out in the field. We're not measuring at the transmitter site. The transmitter is going to have meters that are going to tell you positive and negative modulation. And that's important because you want to put a clean signal out. You don't want to go down below 0 mod, -10 or something, or what they would say is 110% negative modulation. You don't want to do that. And you don't want to overdrive the carrier either. So you have that at the transmitter site. Here out in the field, we're measuring, and again, you're going to need a high-quality receiver. You can't put a junk thing in there that has detection problems or limited IF passband. So you want a good one. So we're using that as a device to grab your signal off the air the best we can and put it into a piece of test equipment out in the field. This would be in a van or your car, or you're just going to set up on a picnic bench 20 miles from the studio, or whatever you're going to do. So anyhow, we're sampling the carrier versus audio and measuring the modulation and try to get a little look at that. See, we're hovering around, they're dancing around 100. The recovered audio level, looking good. And the signal, now I'm calling it, for the familiar, a lot of broadcast engineers are hams too, so I included an S-meter scale. But I also have microvolts. Up here at 50 microvolts, we're at what would be equivalent to S9. Where's my focus? I'm not getting the focus I want. It's actually, if you look, it's just above 50 there. If we go over to the receiver, you can see we're doing, we'll turn that, 55, 56 microvolts. So that's pretty accurate for them. He can see what's going on with the actual audio and the recovered audio, with the relative modulation levels compared to the full carrier at the antenna at the remote site. So it's just a snapshot of what you're doing out in the field with your station. We also have the quick and dirty indications. We can tell if we're peaking, getting up around 9 to 12 dB above 0 dB reference. 0 dB is 0.77 volts on a 600 ohm line. That's the studio reference. We see the modulation in the audio. The carrier will blink when the audio is not present and it's carrier only. And if the signal is too low, you're going to get a fault indication. And I'm going to do that now. Let me just kill the signal. You can see the carrier light is on. There's no audio. And there's the fault flashing. If you can see. It's kind of hard to see that little bugger. Well, there it is flashing. All right, now watch it. I'm going to put the antenna back. And off it goes. Okay. We have calibration control so that you can set up. The way that's set up is that you look for just barely a flash in the peak, which will give you 0 dB, and all the other gauges will follow. Those meters are all synced in terms of sensitivity, so that's all you got to do. For monitoring purposes, we have a level control to the output. The same on the FM side. So again, all a duplicate of what we're doing on the AM side. Again, just for this demonstration. And a master gain so you can hear the station.
Other wealthy people from your country who you don't allow to sell it, so you can say you had a successful IPO.
Oh, there you are. And if you listen to the audio and watch the lights and the meter, it'll give you a good intuitive feeling of what's going on here. Note the carrier and audio indicators. If the I'm going to fake it. If we were really close to the transmitter, I'd have to adjust this calibration. I'm going to go up a little bit in the calibration. It's hard to see that red, but the red is coming in there. See it? And if you notice what's happening here, so we only want to see that flicker on occasion. So that's it. It's quick and dirty, but at least the guy can log in what he sees out in the field, particularly signal strength. That's going to be important to the owners of the station and the GM and the PD and all those people there. Hey, let's go take a look inside. I'll be right back. All right, we're back inside. Or back. I guess we're inside. We'll put a little light on. I don't know if that's better or not. Probably not. As usual, a couple of power supplies. This one is for the meter lamps, which are actually tungsten. They're the nice amber glowing tungsten we're used to, not the harsh LEDs. So you could look at them all day without eye fatigue. It's very, very warm, nice appearing. See, we'll hide the ambient light here, but you can see that the traditional yellow lamp lights. Very clean supply because we don't want to introduce any noise. We're only at about 2 or 3 millivolts of noise coming off this 12-volt supply. We have some pre-drivers here, which are actually they're buffer amps to drive the AM and FM side, and the indicator driver circuits here and here. The modulation control, you can't see it. There's a couple of transistors in the IC here for that. The calibration controls for signal level, VU, and over here modulation. Same on this side. And a little 7 or 8 watt power amp for your listening enjoyment. So that's basically it. It's kind of quick and dirty. Something I didn't want to do. I got to charge them a lot of money. There's a lot of 6 expensive meters and a little bit of expense in the components inside, and quite a bit of labor to hand build it. On the back, we're bringing in the AGC voltage for the S meter, AM, FM on B and C's. I'm using RCA's here. The unit he gets, this is the prototype, I'm keeping it. He may want XLRs here and come in balanced. If he does, I'm going to need to put transformers inside to go from balanced to unbalanced. Over here we have line out and speaker out. This will drive anything from about 2 or 3 ohms up to 32, 60 ohms, somewhere around there. And of course, an IEC power connection. And that's pretty much it. If there's any questions, please annotate them to this video. If not, you can go, or if you're interested, go back and take a look at the AMX4. I'm kind of happy with this receiver. This is it's a nice little device using the TFT board, which is just PLL, but it's a super het, and it's a very, very, very clean, nice audio for AM. Anything they broadcast, you're going to get that quality. There's no compromise there. So that's it. I'm Bob, N1KPR. My website, www.bobsamerica.com, and my YouTube, as you know, N1KPR, November 1, Kilo Papa Romeo. Thank you for looking. Have a great day.